They Call Me a Dreamer, read by the author, Chardo Richardson. Copyright 2012 by Chardo Richardson. For Isabella, if you have never been told how special you truly are, let me be the first to say, you are amazing and I believe in you. You add to this beautiful collage we call life. Acknowledgements. I would argue that this portion of this book, and any book for that matter, is the most important. Remaining thankful for the small things in life to the big things is the essence of true happiness. I am so thankful to God for seeing me through all the hardest times in my life and continuing to give me courage when I can't find it within myself. The words in these pages are a product of a path that God chose for me to walk, and for that I am eternally thankful. To my family and friends that made an impact on me and shaped my life, thank you for opening your hearts and your homes to me, particularly my grandmother. Even in your darkest hours, there is always something to be thankful for. You just may have to dig a little deeper, but it's there. Prologue. Like our late moral leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I also have a dream. My dream is not so different from King's. I, like many others in this world, would love nothing more than peace. Peace from war, conflict, genocide, racism, injustice, and tyranny. Our world seems to be eating itself alive, and I have trouble understanding why. We are all the same. We are breathing the same air, walking on the same ground, and feeling the same sun. When I look up at the night sky and count the stars I see, I know there is a boy in Guatemala looking at and counting those same exact stars. Inside this book, you are going to find brief yet entertaining chapters about life. These chapters are written from my heart as a person who has overcome many obstacles and trials, yet still has the ability to stand firm and smile at all of humanity and nature's beauty. My hope is that you will interact with this book, ask and answer the questions provided, and at the very least, take one positive thing or idea from it. Chapter 1. Piece of Cake. I am but a man in search of a dream of peace. I am writing to you with one goal in mind, peace. When I say the word peace, I mean peace between neighbors, peace within the family, peace between religions, peace among states and provinces, and peace among other countries. No, I do not mean hippie peace. I mean genuine peace, where we come together as a world community and decide to end the bloodshed, hatred, envy, and jealousy between human beings. We have hurt each other long enough, and it is now time we love one another as brothers and sisters. It is far time we begin to look at ourselves in the mirror and examine what we are doing to this world and one another. I've been to many places and sat at the steps of many elders and children alike. The one true thing they all have in common is love. Love has the power to change all circumstances once we stop hiding it from each other. When a child is born, all the way through adolescence, they are seeking love. They want their parents, peers, and teachers to simply love them and approve who they are more than anything else. As they mature, distractions come into play, which turn this genuine love into hatred for a particular group, peoples, culture, religion, etc. This then creates what we have today: war, judgment, and hostility. I am here to tell you that all the animosities you may hold are pointless. They do nothing more than tear you further away from your family, your country, and most of all, the world. The elders I have had the pleasure of speaking to all want to return to that place of love, but the fear that we have allowed to rule us for most of our lives has now become a real and tangible thing. Though we might want to ask the young man in line at the grocery store for help getting to our car, we fear he will take advantage of us in some way. We might want to have someone keep an eye on our things while we run to the bathroom, but fear that they will steal from us purely based on their attire. I am not naive to the fact that some individuals have ill intentions. Some males and females alike are exactly what you think they are, but we must do our best to find the good in the world if we are going to be happy. Chapter 2. Simply believe. Let me start by saying I'm not here to sell you a book. My purpose is to give you the cut and dry key to happiness, love, and peace that I have found. I've read many of the popular books on success, self-love, happiness, and freedom. There are a number of them that have impacted my life in a positive way, and I recommend them to everyone in search of balance, joy, and prosperity. I have also read the not-so-mainstream publications as well. In all my reading and study, I have found that there is one simple word common to all these attributes you should keep in your mind's eye: belief. Some call it faith, others call it trust, but I call it belief. It's a belief in your heart that you are unique and special with gifts and talents that are all your own. The belief that despite your upbringing, in the face of your past hurts, and even with your current pain you may be feeling, you are still special. You are still important. You are still a contributing member to society and the world. Once you believe something of yourself, you are setting in motion an energy that will make that belief come to pass. Many of us have been told who we are. The world can sometimes wrap us in chains by placing us into a particular box or category. When we start to become comfortable in that box, we stop growing. And a lot of the time, we start to give up on our childhood dreams and our futures. To break free from the cardboard box you may be in, you must learn to listen to that little voice inside. We all have this voice, though we may call it something different. Some call it God or another entity, or conscience, id, ego, or superego. Whatever you choose to call it, it is within our hearts, and it, he or she, speaks words to us that we must learn to listen to. This voice screams we are worthy. It begs us to change our negative thoughts. I learned through the help of God at a very young age to look myself square in the eyes while in the mirror and speak encouragement to myself, in spite of the bloody noses, tears, and black eyes. I spoke the words that were in my head and heart. These were words like, "You are smart. You are handsome. You are going to be great. Don't ever give up. I love you. God loves you." These words gave me comfort when no one could protect me from the stings of a belt, the snap of a punch, or the words of hate hurled at me on a daily basis during my youth. You may call this stoic, but it's not. It is allowing yourself to make the decision of who you are regardless of what others say, do, plot, or plan against you. I promise you, once you believe in who you are and who you are going to be, life will change your circumstances and help you to fulfill your dreams, aspirations, destiny, and future. Questions. What or who do you believe in? Who are you inside? Chapter 3. Student of Life. You can learn from everyone you meet. Do not ever be afraid to ask a question. By now, you may have heard the phrase, "Don't forget the little people." I, on the other hand, count the individuals I meet or have the pleasure to share a conversation with as big people. Each person that enters my life on a daily basis has the possibility to teach me something. It can be something as large as one of Socrates' theories, or as small as an easier way to remember the months that have 31 days in them. This little way of approaching life has taught me many lessons. I learn from both young and old alike. I believe that once you're open to learning and willing to accept individuals for who they are, a whole new world is revealed to you. Most individuals have no problem explaining to you who they are and why or how they chose to be a particular way. Just be ready to hear their story, free of judgment. You can even learn from the people who hurt you in some way. When you are hurt, it is the perfect time to do some self-reflection and try to figure out why that person or situation hurt you. It is easy for us as human beings to reward hurt with hurt. It is a bit harder task to extinguish the flame of pain. The next time you are hurt by someone's words or actions aimed at you, ask yourself or consider the following. 1. Did I truly do, say, or intend something to cause this person to treat me this way? 2. Consider their personal situation if you know them on a personal level. 3. Am I taking this personally? 4. How is my situation affecting this scenario? Once you've taken the time to reflect, if this individual or situation is still a source of stress for you, it's time for you to move on. Do your best to find the lesson in the scenario and learn from it. Use the hurts you experienced in life to make you stronger as opposed to letting them keep you from smiling. Life is a continuous process. Stepping outside your door every day is a new journey waiting to be traveled. Every fabric of this world is begging for your attention. I can remember a time when I sat behind the yoke of a KC-10. The pilot was letting me feel what it felt like to fly. He was giving me great instructions, and I was loving every minute of it. After a few turns and climbs, he must have noticed that my eyeballs were glued to the instruments in front of me when he said, "Chardo, look outside. You're flying." He was right. I was so focused on keeping the aircraft level and not making a mistake that I forgot the fact that I was flying a 500,000-pound jet at a crazy fast speed. We all become so engulfed in the routine of our daily lives that we forget to stop and smell the roses. Living your life as a student or even looking through the eyes of a child will teach you so much more about happiness and your true self than you could possibly dream. Do not be afraid to ask questions either. There truly is no stupid question. How else will you learn something unless you ask or are motivated enough to research it? Booker T. Washington said it best when he stated, "Never get to the point where you will be ashamed to ask anybody for information. The ignorant man will always be ignorant if he fears that by asking another for information, he will display his ignorance. Better once display your ignorance of a certain subject than always know nothing of it." Chapter 4. Inspiration. No one ever said life was easy, but it is easy to inspire yourself and others. During those moments when life is giving you its best ass kicking, you must find your comfortable place and re-energize. To do this, find out what makes your heart smile. What are the little things that bring you pleasure? It's not the same for everyone. To figure this out for yourself, you could take the time to reconnect with your inner child. That little boy or girl is still inside all of us and would love to play. Go back to the ages or times when you were most happy with life. In my case, this was between the ages of 8 and 16, despite the abuses I suffered during that time frame. The age isn't as important as it is remembering what used to make you happy. When we are children, the world has yet to steal our dreams, and our worries are few. It is my belief that those are the times when we as human beings are experiencing the true essence of being alive. For most of us, our worries were few, and central to our lives was play. When I was a boy, music, basketball, reading, and making people laugh were the times when I was at my happiest. Today, at the age of 32, I have found that by going back to those moments or recreating them fills my heart with joy. and I feel invincible. I like to think of it as stopping time. When I am sad or disappointed, I can put a good song on and dance in my living room, and all my worries and problems melt away for a moment. When I am tense about a situation, I need only pick up my basketball and dribble or pretend to shoot jump shots, and I am at ease. When I am in a situation that is uncomfortable, I need only find something to laugh about or hear the laughter of someone else, and I begin to feel better. Once you can learn to bring back your own inspiration or happiness, don't keep it all to yourself. Share it with someone. I like sharing my happiness with complete strangers. Strangers are only strangers because they haven't related to you yet. We are all human, and we all experience very similar situations. Situations like getting lost, asking for directions, standing in line at the DMV, or grocery shopping are situations and circumstances that most of us all experience. Use those experiences to connect to humanity and share with a complete stranger. You may just learn something new about yourself. Finally, do not be afraid of who you are. Who you are is beautiful and adds to the collective consciousness. All our differences make up a magnificent tapestry of the human condition. Do not be afraid to share your little bit of light with someone new. Of course, there'll be individuals who think you're crazy or weird, but understand, you are exactly the opposite. You are alive, and I, for one, like your uniqueness. Reflection questions. 1. What makes you smile? 2. What word makes you laugh? 3. If you had 1 extra hour in the day, how would you spend it? 4. How many times did you smile yesterday? Today? 5. How many times do you want to smile tomorrow? Chapter 5. Forgiveness. Forgiveness and patience are 2 traits I have struggled with, but through meditation and a lot of prayer, I have been able to overcome these barriers. There are many books and teachings on forgiveness, but until your heart is truly ready to forgive, reading a book and attending seminars on forgiveness is not going to have the results you seek, though they will get you closer to that goal. In my opinion, forgiveness begins with you. You must forgive yourself first before you can forgive someone else. We have all done things we judge ourselves for. Once you can forgive yourself of those hurts that are of your own doing, then you will be ready to forgive someone else and be forgiven. My struggle with forgiveness rested with my mother, my father, and my stepfather. These 3 individuals hurt me the most, and I had to learn to forgive them if I was to move forward into manhood. I wasn't able to do that alone. I had some help along the way in the form of aunts, therapists, friends, and God. Here's the short version. My mother had me when she was only 18 years of age. My biological father was an older man that owned an auto body shop a few miles down the road in Long Beach, Mississippi. I do not know the particulars of how they got to the point of sleeping with each other, but I do know that he was married at the time, and my mother lived at home with her 7 siblings. My mother did her best to hide the pregnancy and succeeded. Once my grandmother found out, she demanded an abortion. When they arrived at the clinic to have the procedure done, the doctor noticed she was too far along for an abortion to take place. Like it or not, I was coming into this world. Once I was born, my father disappeared. Our relationship throughout my lifespan has never been a healthy one. It was always me making the effort to establish some sort of relationship. He really didn't want a child, and I can't fault him for not wanting another child. I did fault him, however, for making false promises to me as a boy. As a result, my mother was left to be a single parent who luckily ended up getting a GED. With so many aunts in my family, I was never left alone as an infant or small boy. This fact definitely helped a teenager raising an infant. I was cared for and loved in those early years. Then came my stepfather. He was very abusive to my mother and I. I used to get hit in the back of the head so much, my nose would bleed at random times during the day. Even to this day, my nose will bleed occasionally. I got called stupid at every turn and learned to stay in my room so as not to be a burden and to avoid the abuse. I witnessed the abuse of my mother for many years and endured the physical and emotional abuse for most of my adolescent years. One scenario that I remember as vivid as yesterday was what I like to call the day I met God. I was about 6 or 7 years old. My mother worked and left me at home with my stepfather, who we will refer to as the monster. Bath time came, and he drew me a bath. I can remember getting into the tub and washing myself. When I was done, he came into the bathroom and said in a loud voice, "You're not done." He then began to hold me under the water in an attempt to drown me. This occurred about 4 times, with my little body fighting his strong hands away from my chest and my head. After the water torture was complete, he was determined to make me pay for hitting him during my struggle for air. He took me into my bedroom and held my naked body upside down and began beating me with a leather belt. I call this the day I met God because when the abuse was over, I wasn't sad as I ought to have been. I was calm. Something was in the room with me while I lay there alone, hugging me, holding me tighter than any of the people who were supposed to hold me ever did, wiping my tears. This sort of abuse went on for many, many years. The monster was very creative in his torture. Even through all that, I found a way to forgive him. I found a way to forgive my biological father for not coming to my rescue, whilst knowing what was happening to me. I found a way to forgive the woman who was supposed to love me first for keeping me in that scenario and oftentimes participating in it. Forgiveness is power. Do your best to forgive. It's not going to happen overnight. I have lived the journey of forgiveness, but you must make an effort. People will hurt you in this world, most times unknowingly, in my opinion. You have to use forgiveness as a tool for dusting yourself off and moving forward. Otherwise, you are remaining trapped in your past. You will continue to relive the hurts and block your future. Reflection questions. What can you forgive yourself for today?